Mercedes has no reason to retire its really fast W14 F1 car concept at the end of the year, knowing that its 2024 competitor will be better. This has prompted them to further upgrade the W14 to try and close the gap to Red Bull, and that's exactly what they'll be doing in the upcoming races starting this weekend in Japan. Last weekend, the team came dangerously near to winning in Singapore thanks to a brilliant strategy that offered George Russell and Lewis Hamilton a chance. Although they did not win, the promise displayed around the Marina Bay circuit demonstrated that the team has made significant progress in strengthening its 2023 car, following a rocky start to the season. Mercedes was encouraged by the development route of its W13 a year ago, and following a triumph in Brazil, it felt secure enough to remain with its car concept into this year, a decision that proved to be incorrect. Even though the W14 is regaining form, team boss Toto Wolff has stated that there is no hesitancy in the team going into a completely new route for next season, especially given the positive input Mercedes is receiving from its 2024 W15 development. "We will throw this one in the bin when it's really fast and then embark on a new journey," said Wolff. "I think we have encouraging signs from the tunnel of a balanced car that's going to be more together, and we have answers to our questions. So we are really looking at the results with an encouraging perspective." One of Mercedes' constant concerns with the W14 is that it can be fairly unexpected, both in terms of how well it performs each weekend and in terms of its efficiency on track. Wolff stated that Mercedes still has a lot to learn from it for the rest of the 2023 season, as it attempts to win at least one race. "This is still for us a little bit of a surprise box," he said. "Every learning that we have this year is going to be valuable next year, but obviously nobody is working on the current cars anymore." The unpredictability of the W14 is one of the reasons Wolff believes the car improves with each race weekend, because it takes its drivers so long to get used to how it will perform. Speaking earlier this month about the characteristic, Wolff said, "I think that the car is still so sensitive and difficult to set up that we need more sessions to get on top of it. Because you, the drivers, don't know what the car is going to do when you turn in. It's a matter of gaining confidence over those sessions. And the longer we run, the better we get. The more we can fine-tune the tools, and that helps." Mercedes is bringing a bigger upgrade package to the United States Grand Prix to assist its campaign for a victory this season. And for this weekend, Mercedes will bring a new front wing. Mercedes will test the front wing with a fourth flap and a lower profile to preserve efficiency of the medium-high load wing while reducing drag. But Mercedes won't be the only team bringing upgrades until the end of the season, as McLaren has still had a big, if not the biggest upgrade of the season in store for us. And despite recent excellent improvements, McLaren claims it's not reached even half of what it intends to achieve with the aerodynamics of its Formula 1 vehicle. Lando Norris finished second behind race winner Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari at last weekend's Singapore Grand Prix, giving the Woking-based team another good podium result. The performance was especially encouraging given it occurred at the high downforce Marina Bay track, which was not expected to showcase the capabilities of the 2023 MCL60 package. However, a slew of changes targeted at increasing its low-speed performance looked to pay off as the team maintained the good gain it made at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With Norris acknowledging that there were still certain intrinsic traits in the car that he did not like, team principal Andrea Stella has repeated thoughts that there is much more to be done. And unlike Mercedes, McLaren have the idea they have a good understanding of their car. "I think we've gained a good understanding of where the limitations in low speed are coming from," he said. "They have to do with some mechanical aspects and some aerodynamic aspects. On the aerodynamic side, that package we have here has addressed a portion of these limitations, but actually there's still a lot of work to do. I will say from the car we had in Bahrain, with the improvement in Baku, then in Austria, and then here, we haven't even achieved the 50% of where we would like the aerodynamic behavior to be to solve these sorts of issues. I think what is good is that now we have the understanding of what to tackle, but this requires some more work, and it should be embedded into next year's car. Again, not 100% because it will be a bit of a journey." McLaren's Singapore Grand Prix improvement continued the development thread that began with the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, with the front-to-back facelift modifying practically every component of the MCL60. Changes to the front wing center on the M plate, with the whole surface now twisted off the center line to promote greater outwash and allow more space for the dive plane. This has resulted in some minor geometrical changes to the M plate's trailing edge and the bottom flat junction. There is also a significant amount of rehabilitation work being done on the MCL60's new floor, part of which is hidden. While we are unable to fully untangle any alterations to the underfloor's complexity, the exterior adjustments to some of the elements do provide telltale signs of what may have been modified. The fence setup also changed at the front of the floor assembly, as the inboard fence, which used to reach up over the leading edge of the floor, has now been chopped down. The outermost barrier, as well as the forward area of the floor where it slopes downhill, have been entirely rebuilt. The fence is now considerably more inwardly inclined at the front of the lower part, and the form of the anvil has been changed, as has the height of the rear notch. This, of course, will influence diverse flow configurations, both above and below the floorline. McLaren strengthened the upgrade package with adjustments to the shapes of the floor and edge wing downstream, which were linked to the changes made to the front of the side pod, and those made to the side pod beside. These kinds of alterations affect flow structures both above and below the floor, with bulges on the top surface of the floor resulting in cavities below, while any discontinuity enables pressure to move between the two. The edge wing has not only been flattened and the strakes housed atop the scrolling portion reprofiled, but it has also been extended into the tapering rear part of the floor. McLaren has previously made various improvements to its side pods as a result of these rules, and while it wasn't an altogether new idea being introduced in Singapore, the changes were nevertheless substantial. To begin, the designers improved flow conditions into and beyond the intake by lowering the pinch point of the chassis, which resulted in a form modification to the mirror stalk. Second, after switching to gullied, water slide style side pods during the Austrian Grand Prix, it chose to modify its topology as part of the most recent version as well. As a result, it appears to have increased airflow passage down the center channel and fed it over the back area of the floor. Meanwhile, the exterior geometry of the bodywork has been altered to take advantage of the changes made to the floor's edge. The halo fairing and the aerodynamic furnishings linked to it were also altered, while the rear brake duct and toe link fairing were updated in tandem to better interact with the changes made upstream of them. McLaren's rear wing's semi-detached tip piece had also been altered to function in combination with the increased downforce arrangement. The broader panel not only supplies the top flap and main plane with the required aerodynamic support, but it also aligns differently with the edge of the end plate, altering the cutout and hence the vortex created at the wing's tip. Both drivers used this rear wing for qualifying and the race, with the improvements to the rear wing combined with a new beam wing design in which the lowest element was more loaded than the one previously used in the biplane type arrangement. As a result of these upgrades, McLaren is likely to perform well this weekend at the Japanese GP, where both Norris and teammate Oscar Piastri will benefit from the improvement. F1 title leader Max Verstappen believes Norris might pose a major danger in qualifying, while Mercedes' George Russell believes the Norris-McLaren combo could finish second to Red Bull due to their high-speed performance. When you look at Silverstone in the 230 km/h region corners, they were exceptionally quick, said Russell. They were 2.5 tenths quicker than the majority of the field in each of those corners, a tenth quicker than Red Bull in those corners. For a team that appeared to be lost at the start of the season, McLaren has rebounded like no other, and these advances should leave it in an excellent position for the Japanese Grand Prix. This is precisely what you want with Suzuka's quick, flowing turns, underbody downforce, and two determined drivers. We'll find out in the upcoming days.